Once upon a time, this the memory. It's like synergy. Life the hardest teacher y'all could ever get the master. Get a test first, then y'all get that lesson after. Steve's never stressing them G's.
Goal was for me, I understood that I wanted to have that passion, but I also wanted to have the monetary compensation too, right? Because you want to find that perfect marriage where you can be compensated for what you like. And to your point, I think society places this stigma on what is success, right? So there's certain career paths where they say, hey, be a doctor, be a lawyer. That's the only way you can be successful. But we got kids out here that are TikTokers making millions of dollars, right? So there's not one straight path. And I always tell, you know, young people, it's two things that are important, right? It's good to have a mentor, because a good mentor will be able to give you tangible advice, right? So when we say tangible advice, that's advice that you can take and you can do something with. But in addition to that, having a sponsor. So the difference between a mentor and a sponsor, a mentor is going to tell you, hey, I think that you should go down to this place to get a job. A sponsor is actually going to take your hand and walk you to that job and introduce you to somebody. You see the difference? So I always tell young people, get a good mentor, get a good sponsor, because they can help kind of guide you, because you know what? They've been down that road before, right? So why try to reinvent the wheel when you can have somebody who's older, right?
Yeah, I love that point about mentors and sponsors. And here's something I think that people of color don't always understand. That
A lot of times, because people need that, right? Like when we talk about network is your net worth, right? So surrounding yourself with like-minded people, like they said, you know, and people that have values similar to yours. So if you want to be successful, you want to be around other people that want to be successful, right? You don't want to be around people that are going to pull you down, right? You want people, like you said, that are going to pull you up. There's a saying, right? They say, you know, you hang with 5 broke people, you're going to be the 6th, right? but here's the truth tag, right? But here's the truth tag, right?
That is so true.
Right? When people think about that, right? Sometimes they just think about money. It's like, man, these cats are broke, man. I can't, they're gonna make me broke. They always gonna ask for money, right? But it's not just monetary, right? You got people that are broke emotionally, people that are broke spiritually, people that are broke mentally. They always negative. They always got this defeatist mentality. So, you know, you always want to self-assess people and say, hey, you know, what are your values? What are you about? Do they align with what I'm about? Because, you know, you're not gonna rob me emotionally every day, draining me, talking about the same thing on the telephone. And we could be making some power moves, you know, but you over here talking about your boyfriend for the 100th time, that you're always arguing information about financial literacy, whether that's stocks, whether that's bonds, any type of thing that you would like to learn in terms of investing, right? You can just log on and get it, you know? So I think it starts with just taking that initiative, that first step, and sharing amongst yourselves, right? Because once you get into it, you can tell them, hey man, there's this new stock coming out, and it's projected to go up 100%. In 12 months, right? And he can say, hey, I got one too, right? So, you know, there's this power in sharing information, right? Since the information that he might not know, and vice versa. So when you guys actually build, you sit down, discuss information, you guys could be an asset to yourself. Right?
And you
make
build
that TikTok
Go
from here.
Exactly. And you start that network early. You're gonna need your network.
And the thing is, you know, you can look for a job, but also know you can create your own jobs. I'm not saying that it's easy. The road of entrepreneurship certainly has its challenges, because very often people who are employees don't feel the ups and downs of well, they can feel the down when they get downsized, but in general, before they get downsized, or like
a class called philosophy, right? And the teacher was very aloof, right? Like he would put something on the board and he'll say, you know, the sky is blue, but is it really blue? And it's like, what is this guy talking about? This is nuts, right? Like the whole class was like, this guy ain't it, right? So I went to the guidance counselor and said, listen, I get it, you know, some things can be like, you know, left up for interpretation. However, collectively, as a class, we feel that this is not for us, right? Like the way he teaches, because sometimes it's not you. It could be the teacher, right? So sometimes you got to initiate that dialogue with the guidance counselor, with someone above that person to say, hey, what can we do to make this process easier for both of us, right? I want to pass this class. I want to do great. I'm sure you don't want to have 10 kids in your class flunking your class, right? So what can we do collectively so everybody wins? So it starts with effective communication, being able to articulate your concerns, And then also thinking about how you can fix that. Like in business, we got something called SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based, right? So even in school, you can apply SMART goals to what you're trying to do academically to say, all right, you know what, I want to do good in this class. How can I do this effectively within a given time frame, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start applying some SMART goals.
To life, to
Yeah.
everything.
Do we have any more questions? Yes.
So I'm a junior in high school right now, so I'm kind of in the process of like doing like college and stuff. How did you deal with like the anxiety of kind of just like trying to find out what you actually want to do and like what college? Because it's like very anxious. It is.
I mean, yeah, sure. While we're looking around. Oh my God. Please, it was horrible. Oh Lord. I mean, at the time, the Common App was available. I probably applied to like 11 schools, and it was a very difficult time. I would say this. I would hope.
So,
Misery loves
like
company.
misery loves company, right?
Yeah.
So mind your company. You know,
Yeah.
mind your company.
Yes. I'm not exactly sure how much, thank you for that, Kyle, and I'm not sure how much time we have left, but I do wanna just take a break and, from my asking questions, just to see if anyone here has a very specific question